Hi everybody, it's Doreen, and I'm back today with a graduation card for my niece who is graduating this year from high school. So come on and join me, and I'm going to show you how I made this card. Okay everybody, so I'm going to go ahead and bring up my supplies for the card. Now, my card measures 9 inches by 8 inches, and I've taken it and scored it in half to make it a 4x9 card. And I got this idea to make this card for my niece out of this book called Card Maker's Sketchbook. There was a graduation card in there which looks like this. Let me open this all the way so you can see it. It looks like this. So I'm going to be making mine similar to this, but I'm actually just using this sketch. The sketch is right here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up my card, and I want to go ahead and lay down my squares. So I went ahead and cut my squares on my Cricut. And these squares are from the George and Basic cartridge, and they measure 2 1/4 inches. So I went ahead and I cut out 3 of them, and I'm just going to go ahead and line them up. Look and see where I want them. And I'm going to go ahead and lay them right there. Then I'm going to just go ahead and put my top layer on here, just to make sure that I've got enough room, because I'm going to run my ribbon loops on this trim right here. So that looks about where I want them, so I'm just going to leave that laying there for right now. So what I've done is also I've cut out this circle, and this is also from the George and Basic cartridge, and I cut this at 2 inches, and I've cut 2 of them. And I cut 2 of them from this paper right here. And this is from a paper pack that is by, let's see, DCWB. And it's called the Stack 7. Looks like that. So I cut 2 of the circles out using that paper. And then I went back and cut out 2 more circles in white, and I've gone ahead and embossed them using my Dasmac Cuttlebug folder. Looks like that. And I took the white circle and cut it in half. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lay 1 circle going this way and then 1 circle going that way. So let's go ahead and adhere this circle down to the square. And I'm just going to go ahead and use my Tombow adhesive for that. Make sure we get enough tape on here. So I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to move this up because I didn't realize I was out of camera frame. So there we go. So we're just going to lay this circle down like so. And then from there, I think we can pull this up now. So I'm going to just put that down, and then we'll just go ahead and lay down our second circle, and we'll get some tape on the back. And then we'll go ahead and put that circle down like so. Now what I've done for the squares is I've gone ahead and inked my edges, and then I took my white Uniball pen that looks like this, and I just did some stitching along the edges. And I also inked the edges of the circles using my Tim Holtz Distress ink, the peeled paint. So now the other thing I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and put my square down for the middle, And this square measures 2 inches. I believe that's 2 inches. Let me make sure. Yes, that's correct. That's 2 inches because these are 2 1/4. So when I've gone ahead and inked the edges again, and with the Tim Holtz Distress ink, the peeled paint, so we'll go ahead and put that one down next. So we'll just get some tape on here. And I'm going to once again use the Tombow adhesive to do that. And then we'll go ahead and adhere that down. Like so. So now that I've got all of my squares together, I'm going to go ahead and now tape them down to the card. So let's go ahead and do that. And once again, I'm going to use the Tombow adhesive. For something small like this, I'll just use the Tombow rather than going ahead and using my ATG gun. So we'll go ahead and we'll put the first circle down. Right there. And as you can see, I've also gone along and inked the edges of the card with the peeled paint. So let's go ahead and put the next square down. And we'll make sure we get tape all along here. And then we'll go ahead and lay that one down. And I'm just eyeballing it. There's no rhyme or reason or spacing. I try to get them lined up on the edges, but I do a lot of eyeballing when I make my cards because I really don't like to measure because I'm not very good at it. So now we'll just go ahead and get some tape on this one. And get some in the middle there. And then we got to make sure, because I want that to be the opposite of the other one. And then we'll just go ahead and lay that down. Like so. So now before I put my embellishments on each one of my squares, I'm going to go ahead and lay down my next layer. Now I just went ahead and just cut a strip. This strip measures 1 inch wide and it's 9 inches long. And before I lay it down, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do my ribbon loops. So what I do to do my ribbon loops is I found a different way to do them this time. So I'm going to go ahead and move this out the way. And because I need some room here, we can put this aside for right now. So we can just go ahead and do the ribbon. I'm going to take some score tape that I have. And this is the 1/2 inch wide. And I'm going to go ahead and put some across my paper here. And I'm going to try to get it lined up in the middle, or as close to the middle as I can. And I like this score tape because you can just tear it. You don't have to worry about having scissors. So there, got my score tape down. I am going to cut that off there because I didn't get on the edge there. So now that I've got my score tape down, I'm going to go ahead and take my ribbon, and this is just some satin ribbon that I picked up at Michael's, and I'm going to tear off the cover of my score tape. And then I'm going to, I like to cut the ribbon in an angle. Like so. And I don't know if you can hear in the background, but we're having a real big thunderstorm here. I hope I'm able to finish this video because the lights have flickered twice while I was in the process of making the video. So now, I just want to put just a little bit off to the side here, because what I'm going to do is just take that and put that on the back. And I'm going to go ahead and start making my pleats. So it's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just basically you fold down and then you start your next pleat, you fold back, and start your next pleat, and I just continue going all the way across. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we'll make sure we get all the way to the end. And then once I've done this with the tape, I then go back with the glue gun because I want my pleats to lay flat. So I go back with my glue gun and just put just a little bit of glue to hold down the pleats. So now everybody, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and take my glue gun and just put just a little bit of glue along here and then press down just so my pleat will lay flat. Okay everybody, now that I have all my pleats laid out and they're laying flat, what I'll do is just go ahead and take some of my clear tape and tape that along the back there, and I'm going to lay it this way because I want to have the tape going across here, and then I'll put another piece along the top here. And then I'll go ahead and come over and do the other side and do the same thing. I'll put a piece across the back there. I'll bring that up just a little bit because I want it to make sure it lays flat. So we have a piece across there and then one small piece across the middle here. So now we're ready to add it to the card, and I just have to decide which way I want the pleats to flow, if I want them to flow this way or if I want them to flow this way, and I believe I want them to flow this way. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to take my ATG gun this time and go ahead and adhere this to my card. So let's take our ATG gun and get some tape on here. And you don't get the tape on your fingers like I just did. Try to get it on the paper. Okay, so now I'm ready to go ahead and adhere it down to the card. And I'm just going to go ahead and line it up. And I do want a little bit of my edges showing down here. So I'm just going to line this up and kind of butt it right up against the squares. And then just go ahead and I'm going to run my hand across like so. So now we have our top layer with our ruffled loops. So now let's go ahead and add our embellishments on the top. Now what I've gone and done is I've gone and used a few cartridges to make my embellishments. So now I've made, for the one square, I've got a graduation cap because she's graduating this year. So I don't know if you can see that or not, but it says class of 2011. So now I got the cap from the, let me see which cartridge. The cap is from the Locker Talk, and it is page 48. Okay, here's the handbook for that. And it's called Locker Talk, and it is on page 48. And what I did was I cut out the blackout, which is right here. And I cut the cap at 1.5 inches. And that would be key 17 on your Gypsy. So let me go ahead and pull up key 17 for you. So first I'm going to go ahead and go to the cap, and then I found this out, and I mentioned this once before, that if you go ahead and press on your icon and then press the name of the cartridge that pops up, it goes right to that particular cartridge. You don't have to thumb through all of your cartridges down below here. So as I said, it is key number 17, which is this key right here. So it looks like this. Oops, sorry, that was so fast. It looks like that. Okay, so I cut that out, as I said before, at 1.5 inches, and then I went ahead and took my uniball pin again and did some stitching around the edge. And then for the tassel, I cut the tassel separate at the same 1.5 inches, and it's your layers, and it's so you would hit your shift key and layers on your Gypsy. You do the same thing. You hit your shift key, shift locked, and then the layers button, and that will give you the tassel. So that I could make the tassel a separate color, since her colors for her school are green and white. So I went ahead and I took some Stardust Stickles and just colored in the tassel. And then I added some bling at the top, because you know we have to have the bling. So I'm going to go ahead and I want to pop this up with some foam squares. So I'm going to get some foam squares on the back, and we'll go ahead and pop it up. And then we'll add that to our first square. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop that up and put it right there. So now for my next embellishment, for the middle square, I've gone ahead and cut out the words, "You did it." And this is from the Beyond Birthdays cartridge, which looks like this. And it is on page 90, just right here. And so I went ahead and I cut out the "You did it," and then I also cut out the shadow as well. And I cut that at 0.93 because I wanted to make sure I could get it to squeeze inside this square. So if you're using your Cricut, I guess you would have to cut it at 1 inch, or you would cut it smaller and make it 3/4 of an inch. So we'll go ahead and we're going to add that. And I also want this to pop up. So I'm just going to put some foam squares on here as well. And we're just going to put a couple just to make it pop up just a little bit. And then I went ahead also and added some green glitter by Martha Stewart. It's called Peridot. Just on the star so it would shine a little bit. So we can go ahead and we'll put that one right there in the middle. And then for our last square, what I did was I took some white cardstock and cut 2 inches by 2 inches. And I took it and rolled it up really tight. And then I had some of this gold twine, stretchy twine left over. I actually think it came from her invitation that she sent me. And I cut a piece off to make a diploma. And I want to lay that right across there. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to take the glue gun and get some glue along there so that when it hardens, it'll actually stick up more. And then I'll turn my ribbon or the twine around just a little bit. And there you have it. There's the 3 embellish squares. So now, the last thing I want to do for the front of the card is I've cut out these little stars, and they are also from the Beyond Birthdays cartridge. It is the star right here, and the stars were cut at 1 inch. So to cut the stars using your gypsy, you would just hit the, and let me bring the Beyond Birthdays back up again. You would hit key number 1 because it's key number 1. You would hit the shift lock key and then the key 1. So the star looks like that. And I'm just going to go ahead and just randomly paste them along the ribbon, like so. I just cut out as many as I could on the sheet of paper that I had already lined up in the Cricut. I didn't cut a particular amount. I just thought I'd just cut as many as I could and just lay them out randomly, like so. So now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I think I want to have these shine. So I'm going to put some glitter on these and then I'll be back. Okay everybody, so now I've got my stars on, and I've used the Peridot glitter to glitter up my stars. The front of my card is done. So now for the inside of my card, what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've used the graduation cartridge, or a Good Luck Graduate cartridge, to go ahead and cut out the words congratulations. I have to say that I like some of the things on this cartridge and some things I don't. And I didn't like what happened with the congratulations, because in your gypsy, when you go to cut this out, it does show that it's separate and that they're not welded together. So what ended up happening was it would be key number 41 through 44 when you go to cut it out. Let me get that cartridge to come up. So it starts off with this, and then once you hit the next key, you get the next set of letters, and so forth. So when they cut out separately, and then you have to take and glue them down. I guess you could weld them, but I didn't want to weld them together, so it ended up coming out like this. And I initially bought this because I knew I had to do some graduation cards for a couple of people, and I now found that I liked the cap that was on Lockertalk better than I liked the caps that were on the Good Luck Graduate. So I'll still probably use a cartridge in the future, but I think I like my other cartridges better. So the other thing I did go ahead and do was I cut out the caps, or graduation caps, right here. And there were 3 of them, but I only cut 2 because what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and pop one up in each corner. And I cut these at 2.5. And I once again went ahead and took my Uniball pen and did some stitching around the edges. So it looks like this. And I'm going to put one in each corner. And they're going to kind of act like an anchor, because I'm going to stick her graduation present, which is money, of course. What teenager doesn't like money? And I'm going to have the check anchored by the 2 caps. And I've added some bling on the top using my IROC tool. So I'm going to just go ahead and take off my foam tape that I have sticking on there to pop it up, and put that in the corner on that side, and then I'm going to put one in the corner on this side. So that's it. That is my graduation card. And I got the idea from this sketchbook called Card Maker Sketchbook. And the graduation card that I picked, or the sketch that I used, was this one right here. And the card that they had in here was like this. So I think I came pretty close. So thanks for watching, everybody. Bye. And congratulations, Diamond.